Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
My name is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years without the possibility of parole in Red Onion State Prison, the Supermax prison in the state of Virginia in the United States of America. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. Well, today I'm going to talk about something that I haven't discussed yet. How to make prison wine. Hooch, mash, toilet wine. They have different names depending on what prison you're in and what state you're in. But it's basically the same. Something incredibly nasty tasting to get you drunk off your ass. I'm going to tell you how to do it, and I'm going to tell you a story or two. One is more of a cautionary tale, and the second one is pretty damn funny. People in prison, as you can imagine, as most people on the street, they need an escape from life. You know, when life gets too hard, when it becomes too unbearable, some people turn to drink, some people turn to drugs, some people, turn to video games or whatever it happens to be. People in prison don't have much choice. And MASH is usually their first choice. It's nasty. Now, understand, when I call it toilet wine, it's called toilet wine because it's actually made in the toilet. But there's a trash bag involved, so it's not actually like everything is just mixed in the toilet water and you just scoop your cup out of it. That's just nasty and that'll kill you. What it is and how you make it, and I highly recommend that you don't try this at home, but you get you either, a really big bottle. And most prisons, they no longer sell big bottles, so guys have to get, trash bags, get, big bags of some kind that they can pour juice in. You get apple juice, orange juice. You can't use the red juice, which I don't even know what that stuff is made of. I just figured it's water, sugar, and some food coloring, but the apple juice and the orange juice work. And you get as many of them as you can, and you fill your bag up with it. And then you got to get some real fruit. And you chop the fruit up, and you kind of hold it over the bag with the juice in it, and you squish it with your hands, to kind of pulp it up. That way, it releases all of the sugars inside the fruit. And then you take bread off the tray. Because the thing about prison bread is the state is too cheap to buy bread from the street. So they have inmates make the bread, make the dough, bake it, so on and so forth, and you get it. You got to put yeast in it, and you need yeast to activate the sugars, to get that heat going in there, get it to cooking and get it to ferment and so on and so forth, and that's what it takes. So you put you a couple pieces of, big pieces down in there, you shred it up and whatnot, and then you tie it up really tight. You tie it up even tighter because you don't want oxygen getting in it. You want it to cook. And you hide it under the bed, you wrap it up in blankets because you want to keep that heat to it. You want to keep it out of the sunlight and so on and so forth. Now, it takes time, but it's pretty quickly done. You can make it within 4 or 5 days, and drink it. But usually you want to try to wait for at least 10 days. That really gives it some more alcohol content, some more kick to it. But the thing is, every 2 days you kind of have to open it up, untie it and everything, or pop the top off of it if you somehow got a big bottle, and let it breathe for a little bit, because otherwise you'll do what I did when I was really young and I first started making it. I didn't bleed it. I just let it sit there in the bottle day after day after day, and the bottle started swelling and swelling and swelling. It blew up, and I had mash everywhere, on the ceiling. All my clothes, paperwork, books, you name it, it went everywhere. It's like a little bomb went off. And the thing about MASH is it stinks. It really stinks. It smells strong. So when COs walk by, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to mask the smell of it, you're going to get tore off. It's just as simple as that, because it smells exactly like what it is. If someone smells it, even if you've never heard of MASH before, you're going to know, hey, someone's in there cooking an alcoholic beverage. It just has that smell to it, that yeasty, fruity smell to it that's been rotten and covered in feces. That's what it smells like. It's horrible. And it tastes even worse. But it will do its job. It will get you drunk off your ass. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. This happened at Buckingham. I wasn't at Red Onion or Wallace Ridge at that time. And Buckingham is a lowland level 3 prison. It's like the prisons you see in most movies where, guys can go in and out their cell, all day long between 6 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. That's, between the count times. Everybody's out moving around, and, it's like a prison. Now, you had this one guy, I can't remember his name. It's been so long ago. Matter of fact, this was back in 2000, I believe. Yeah, 2000. He was an old head. He was probably around 55 at the time. I was still wet behind the ears. And he got drunk off his ass. I mean, the kind of drunk that you just take one look at him and you know he's drinking 3 beers too many. He was drunk. His eyes were glassy. His skin was all flushed. He was sweating. He's kind of nervous and, kind of energetic. And, he was a little bit jittery. Y'all probably been around enough drunk people to know. And the COs come in, to make rounds, because you don't have a CO per pod. You have a couple of them that make rounds throughout the building. They'll go downstairs, walk their way through, and then they'll go up the stairs, up the top tiers, and they'll walk their way through, and they'll just kind of cycle back down every 30 minutes. They'll hit the pod. And so they come in, and they see him. So they will start walking toward them, but they're kind of calm. They're actually being professional about it. They're kind of chuckling to themselves. Dude's like drunk. And he's on the top tier. And the top tier is concrete floor that sticks out the side of the wall. And it's got a railing that goes around it. It's about 3.5 feet tall, made out of 2-inch diameter steel conduit or pipe, if you want to. And it's got, a middle railing goes in the middle. So as they're coming towards him, one of them reaches back and pulls his handcuffs out because they're going to take him to jail, which would be solitary confinement. But in prison, we all call it jail. And the guy sees him, and he starts backing up. And he's like, "No, you son of bitches ain't taking me to jail. I'll whoop your black asses." And he's an old white dude, you know what I'm saying? He's country as hell. And they're like, "Come on, man, let's not do this, man. Let's just, you only going to be back there for a short time, man. It ain't no big deal, man. We can do," and they start slowing down and kind of approaching him, like he's a skittish horse. He's like, "Oh, no, you son of bitches ain't taking me. I'll whoop both your asses. You know who the hell I am?" And they're like, "Yeah, man, we know who you are, man. We've heard the stories, man. Come on, man, let's just turn around and cuff up, man. It ain't going to be that bad, man. You've been back there plenty of times before." "Hell no, you son of bitches. I can fly. That son bitch, he climbs up on the steps, and somehow he's kind of balancing himself, and he's about 10 feet, no, actually not, because he's on top of the rails. Yeah, he's actually about 13 and a half, 14 feet above the bottom tier concrete. If he falls, he's going to mess himself up. And they're like, come on, dude, man, come on, please don't do this, man. Please don't jump, man. Please don't jump, man. We don't want to do the paperwork, man. Don't jump. He said, the hell with you, son bitch. He said, I'm jumping. And he just jumps out. And his hands hit the pipes running across the top of the ceiling. Now, the ceiling had these load-bearing joists that goes across the ceiling every couple of feet, and they're about 3 feet tall. And, you know, the top of, the ceiling rests on that, and it just, like, every 3 feet they go across the pod. You know, all that concrete and steel and everything weighs a lot, so you need a lot of, load-bearing support there. And you got, like I said, conduit and pipes and everything else running across for the lights and what have you. Like I said, his hands grab it, and he pulls himself up. I guess he had that jump strength, because I don't think he was ever strong enough in his life to do a damn pull-up. But he managed to pull himself up, and these are a bunch of pipes that are about maybe 8 inches in length, and he's sitting up there on top of him, and his legs are dangling down, and he just starts cussing and ranting and raving in the damn ceiling of a prison in Buckingham. And you son bitches won't come up here. Come up here and put the cuffs on me, you son bitch. I mean, he's just cussing and acting a damn fool, and he starts rocking back and forth on the pipes, and, so they come in, and they have to bring the scissor lift. Now, the scissor lift is one of those things that's kind of small. It's got a little cage on the top, and it lifts up, and, it kind of makes that noise. So they come in to get him, and they park underneath of him, and they start raising him up. And they get about halfway up. You got the COs in there, and they're talking to him and trying to calm him. He's like, hell no, I ain't going, you son of bitches. For some reason, he really likes saying some bitches. And he just jumped out and just grabbed a hold of more pipes. And it took them, 30, 40 minutes to get him. I guess he just got tuckered out or whatnot. Finally, he let them get him. But he was jumping from damn pipes to pipes, swinging like a damn ape or something across the ceiling, drunker than hell. Everybody just knows he's going to miss one of these pipes. His grip's going to give out. He's going to just pass out, and he's going to fall and break his damn neck. He's drunker than hell. And that's what mass should do to you. I mean, when I tell you it's potent, it's got kick to it. It's not as strong as moonshine is, but it's raw. I mean, this is raw. So, that's I'm sorry. I'm just picturing it in my you drunk son bitch ain't taking me to jail. Sorry, I can't help myself. It was hilarious. And when he came back from SEG, did we have fun at his expense. You had another story, and this is the cautionary tale. So, you had this one guy, a new guy, come into the system, and he didn't have much time. I think he only had like a year and a half, maybe 2 years to do before he gets out. And he moves in the cell with this guy who's been there for a little while. And the guy who's been there for a little while likes to drink. And he's got a couple of friends. And so you got 3 guys that are involved in this, and they sit there and they make some wine, and 2 of them get drunk, 1 in each cell. The young guy doesn't have nothing to do with this. He doesn't even really know about this. If I remember correctly, I don't even think he had anything to do with it, period. Like, he didn't know about it. But the other 3 guys did. And the one guy was like, yo, look, man, they're getting ready to call us out for pill pass. Now, y'all just go on and stay in the cell, man. It's, just stay in the cell, man. Y'all kind of drunk, man. We don't want y'all getting so off. Oh, no, man, we're good, man. We're good. Don't worry about us, man. We know how to hold our liquor, man. We've been drinking since we were young. Hey, look, man, y'all should really stay in the cell, man. I'm telling y'all some good stuff. Oh, no, you worried about nothing, man. You old sissy. Stop acting like a woman. We grown-ass men. Hey, it's all right, man. Y'all do what y'all gonna do. So they called him out for pill pass. So the one guy, they cautioned him. He's like, man, screw this. I ain't walking with these idiots. So he's walking about 30 feet in front of them. And they got to walk out the building, down the steps and everything, across the boulevard to the, to the one of the major buildings where medical is, to go in this little small room. But the whole time they're walking behind him. They got their arms over each other's shoulders, walking and kind of supporting each other, and they're talking, oh, man, I love you, man. You're a good friend, man. You've always been there for me. And they're just wasted. So the guy that's involved in this, the one who actually made the wine for him and everything, he's not drinking because he was going to wait till after everything is done, and then he's going to have his drink. So he's in medical, and you can only get like 4 people plus a CO in that little small room, and the nurses are behind a wall, and it's got a little small window cut in where, it's too small for anybody to climb through or anything, so they can just set the pills on there and they can grab it. Because you have some inmates that have, tried to snatch the nurse up for this or that or what have you, so that, they got it pretty secure nowadays. And so he's in there and he's coming out, and, the 2 drunk guys go in there, and you know how when drunk guys want to pretend they're not drunk, it just seems to make them even more drunker than what they actually are. So they go in there and they're trying to do that, and the CO can smell it. When I tell you it stinks, I mean it stinks. So he doesn't say anything to them. He's like, okay, whatever. So they get their pills and they come out and they're sitting there walking and they're telling the guy, see, we told you we wouldn't get caught. We hold our damn liquor. And the guy looks over his shoulder at him, and he sees the CO from the pill pass walking about 20 feet behind the 2 drunk guys. He's like, yeah, y'all got away with it. Gives him a thumb up and a smile, and he keeps on walking. Doesn't say nothing else. So they get back to the pod and whatnot, and they go up in the cells. And sure enough, about 5 minutes later, you got a whole bunch of COs come over to the cells. It's like, all right, man, come on, step out, put your hands behind your back for a shakedown. So they come out and they put their hands behind their back. You got the 2 non-drunk guys in the cell with 1 drunk guy each. They go in and they shake down. And the guy that made the wine actually has some wine hidden in a trash can. And he's in the cell with the 1 drunk guy. And they don't get tore off, even though the guy who's been drinking, they take him to jail because it's clear he's been drinking. You can smell it on him and so on and so forth. But they can't find nothing in the cell, so the guy who actually made it gets away with it. Now, in the other cell, you got the COs are shaking down. And this is the messed up thing about this. All right. The wine is in what is called a common area. Now, if it would have been found in one of them's locker or on one of them's bunk or one of them's shelf, then that one person and only that person is going to get charged for it. But if it's found on the floor under some dirty clothes over by the sink, that's called the common area. If someone has like a knife taped under the bottom of the door, that's called a common area. Now, a real man steps up and says, hey, yo, that's mine right there. I'm going to have to wear that. Well, they found a bag of alcohol that hadn't been drunk in the common area. The drunk guy didn't say a word. He didn't stand up. He didn't say, hey, that was mine. or anything like that. You know, and the young guy, it's like, man, I don't know nothing about that. That ain't mine. You know, he ain't say anything he wasn't supposed to do. He just said, yo, look, I don't know how that got there. That ain't mine. But the thing is, by law, if you get charged with it, they can take you to court for that on the street. And it adds an additional 18 months to your time that you were currently serving. And it's not run concurrent, it's run consecutively. This guy who didn't know about it, had nothing to do with it, got 18 additional months added to his sentence because the one dude that was in the cell with him wanted to get drunk, and he wasn't man enough to stand up and say, hey, that was mine. And both of them got time added to their sentence. And this one dude ain't have a damn thing to do with it. That's one main reason why you really don't want to mess with that stuff, you know, besides the potential hazard of hanging off the ceiling by some pipes. If you have a cellie like that, and the thing is, man, somebody in prison, they can sit there and talk about how stand-up they are all day long. And the crazy thing is, most guys talk about how stand-up they are all damn day long. You never know who they are until you put their feet in the fire, and then you find out how much balls they got and what kind of man they are. And the sad thing is, you never know what could have happened to that dude. Because he would have got that extra 18 months, a riot may have popped off and he may have got killed, or he may have got put into a situation where he has to pick a knife up and stab someone just to protect himself, and he goes home in 2 years to never going home at all because he got life in prison for stabbing someone and killing someone. So you really want to pay attention if you ever find yourself in a position like this of what is kept in the common area. That's why whenever I come into a cell for the first time, I don't have to worry about the CO shaking the cell down. I'm going to shake it down myself, because if I find anything in the common area, I'm getting rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Or if I got a cellie in the cell with me at that time, I'm going to tell him straight up, yo, look, this yours? He said, yeah. Listen, man, keep it on yourself or get out of my cell. Because I'm not going to let a dude get me tricked up because he ain't man enough to stand on his own.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So, you know, that's how you make MASH in prison. And that's 2 stories. One pretty hilarious and one cautionary. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. Please don't forget to check out my website, redonionrandy.com. And for those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcast, I would truly appreciate it if you'd be willing to rate me and to review me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you think I'm worth. And for those of you who have already reviewed me and rated me, I appreciate it. Thank you. I have had them read to me by my producer, Michael, and they've meant a lot to me. Thank you for your continued support. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.